Greetings, esteemed observers of the human condition, and welcome back to the heart of the story. Welcome back to News Around. We are gathered here today not merely to dissect the fleeting whispers of gossip, but to understand the profound emotional currents that steer the lives of those we watch on screen. Often, the lives of celebrities appear to us as polished diamonds, flawless, brilliant, and unbreakable. Yet, as we have learned time and time again, even the hardest diamond can shatter if struck at its weakest point. Today, we navigate a narrative so fraught with raw emotion, betrayal, and the agonizing complexity of love that it feels less like a news report and more like a tragic opera. We are talking about Cenk Torun, a man who stood on the precipice of his happily ever after, only to find the ground crumbling beneath his feet mere moments before the leap. Before we unravel this tapestry of heartbreak and hope, I invite you to subscribe to our channel. If you wish to dive deeper with us and support the rigorous storytelling we strive for, please click the join button. Your support allows us to remain independent and thorough. Don't forget to like this video and prepare your hearts and minds, for we will need your perspective on this delicate matter in the comments below. The countdown had begun. The calendar pages were turning towards a date that was supposed to be etched in gold, the wedding day of the beloved actor Cenk Torun. By all accounts, the preparations were a symphony of perfection. The invitations, embossed with promises of eternity, had long since reached the mailboxes of the elite. The venue, a sanctuary of celebration, was draped in the finest silks, awaiting the laughter and tears of joy that accompany such unions. Even the dress rehearsals had passed without a hitch, painting a picture of a couple in perfect sync, ready to face the world as one. However, the universe often has a cruel sense of timing. Just as the final act was about to begin, the curtain was violently torn down, revealing a backstage reality that no one, least of all Jenk, was prepared to witness. The catalyst for this sudden descent into chaos was not a public scandal or a paparazzi ambush, but a quiet, casual conversation. The kind of innocent exchange that occurs between friends over coffee, yet carries the potential to dismantle a life. It was within the confines of this dialogue with one of his oldest confidants that Jenk stumbled upon a truth so jarring it rendered him breathless. "I couldn't believe what the air was carrying to my ears," Jenk would later confess to his inner circle, his voice trembling with the aftershocks of the revelation. "At first, my mind rejected it as a misunderstanding, a cruel joke of syntax. But when the evidence was laid bare, when I saw the messages that bridged the past and the present, I felt the architecture of my world collapsing." What was the nature of this seismic secret? Sources deeply embedded within the couple's social sphere have illuminated the shadows. The bride-to-be had concealed a significant romantic history. But this was not merely a case of an omitted ex-lover from a forgotten chapter of life. The past relationship she had buried deep within the vaults of silence was with a man who sat at Jenk's own table, a member of his inner sanctum, a figure he regarded with the sanctity of brotherhood. This dual betrayal of a fiancé's omission and a friend's silence struck Jenk with the force of a physical blow. The woman he was to marry had built their foundation on a hollow space where a crucial truth should have resided. The defense offered by the fiancé, emerging through leaked audio recordings that sound more like pleas for mercy than explanations, paints a portrait of desperation rather than malice. "I never told him because the sheer terror of losing him paralyzed me," she is heard saying, her voice thick with tears. "I knew it was a mistake to hide it, but my desire for a future with him eclipsed my courage to be honest about the past." It is the classic tragedy of the human heart, lying to protect a love, only to have the lie become the very weapon that kills it. This brings us to a profound ethical dilemma, dear viewers of News Around. We often hear that honesty is the best policy, but fear is a powerful silencer. I ask you, is there ever a justification for hiding a past relationship from a partner to protect their feelings? Or is an omission of truth just as damaging as a direct lie? We want to know where you draw the line. Please, share your wisdom in the comments section. And if you are finding value in this deep dive, remember that clicking the join button helps us keep the lights on and the stories coming. The immediate aftermath of this discovery was a scene of domestic turbulence. During a private crisis meeting held within the sanctuary of Jenk's mother's home, the actor reportedly delivered the ultimatum that has since echoed through the corridors of the tabloids. If you could look me in the eye and construct a reality that excluded this truth, how can I ever surrender my trust to you again? He asked, the question hanging in the air like a guillotine blade. I am prepared to dismantle everything we have built if the fog does not clear immediately. Witnesses describe a scene of high emotion, with the matriarch of the family attempting to act as a dam against the flood of Jenk's anger, urging patience and perspective. But a wounded heart rarely listens to reason. In a move reminiscent of a wounded lion seeking the solitude of the wilderness to lick its wounds, Jenk vanished. He left the family home, turning his back on the city, the wedding preparations, and the noise of the impending ceremony, retreating to a secluded cabin in the mountains. He severed his digital tethers, no calls answered, no social media updates posted, professional obligations suspended indefinitely. It was a silence so loud it deafened the entertainment industry. 4 days, the only news was the absence of news, a void filled by the speculation of a worried public. While Jenk sought answers in the silence of the peaks, the drama continued to unfold in the city below. The press, ever vigilant, captured a heartbreaking tableau, the bride, emerging from a flower shop, clutching what appeared to be a prototype of her wedding bouquet. She was not the picture of a glowing bride, but of a woman undone, weeping inconsolably while her sister attempted to shield her from the lenses. He has the right to bleed, she was overheard murmuring as she was ushered into a car with tinted windows, but he must understand that my silence was born of my own suffering, not deceit. It was a stark reminder that in stories of heartbreak, there are rarely villains, only victims of their own imperfections. The silence from the mountain was finally broken, not by a press release, but by a cryptic digital signal. 2 days into his exile, Jenk posted a single sentence to his Instagram story, white text on a black background, "Wounds heal, but scars teach." The ambiguity of the phrase set the internet ablaze. Was this a declaration of a lesson learned and a chapter closed? Or was it an acknowledgement that he was willing to heal, provided the lesson was understood? The ambiguity was a torment to his fans. However, the turning point, the moment the narrative shifted from tragedy to potential redemption, came via a telephone call. On the 3rd day of his isolation, Jenk finally lifted the receiver. The voice on the other end was his father. According to family insiders, the conversation was brief, stoic, yet pivotal. "Dad, I need time, but I refuse to let anger be the architect of my future," Jenk reportedly stated. It was a glimmer of maturity amidst the emotional storm. The following day, the exile ended. Jenk descended from the mountains and returned to the chaos of Istanbul. Upon his return, his representative issued a statement that surprised many. Jenk agreed to meet his fiancée, but the terms were strictly defined, almost clinical in their nature. He demanded that the conversation be mediated by a professional therapist and, in a move showing his utter lack of trust, that it be recorded. "This isn't a soap opera script, this is the raw footage of my life," Jenk told a reporter who intercepted him outside his building. "And even though the pain is visceral, I must face this with the maturity of a man, not the impulsiveness of a child." The meeting took place in the neutral territory of a therapist's office in Nizantasi. Descriptions of the session paint a picture of an emotional exorcism. It was raw, unfiltered, and excruciatingly honest. Jenk reportedly opened the dialogue with a statement that cut to the core: "I am not here to act as your judge or to burden you with guilt. I am here to discover if the entity we called us still exists, or if it was an illusion." Her response was a trembling testament to her enduring love: "I never stopped loving you. My mistake was not malice, it was panic. The panic of a woman terrified that her past would steal her future." At a crucial juncture, the therapist had to intervene to bridge the chasm of their conflicting realities. Jenk admitted, "When I asked you to marry me, it was because you were my safe haven. Today, I look at you and I do not know if I am looking at a stranger." The emotional payload was so heavy that the session concluded with a recommendation for a further cooling-off period. Outside the therapist's office, the machinery of the wedding began to dismantle. The luxurious estate, once buzzing with decorators, fell silent as ornaments were packed away. Staff were notified of an indefinite postponement. The symbolism was potent. The physical deconstruction of the wedding mirrored the psychological deconstruction of the relationship. Yet, hope is a stubborn thing. Cenk's mother, speaking to the press, offered a cryptic beacon. "I cannot dictate my son's heart, but I know its capacity. He loves deeply. And where there is deep love, there is the potential to overcome mountains, provided both climbers are willing to endure the ascent." The hashtag #JenkDecides has taken over social media, becoming a digital town hall where fans debate the merits of forgiveness versus self-preservation. We want to know who you would like to see us cover next on News Around. Is there another celebrity facing a crossroads that you want us to analyze? Your suggestions drive our content. And please, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon. Joining our channel membership is the ultimate way to show you value this kind of in-depth reporting. The saga took its most recent, poetic turn when the fiancé utilized the only platform left to her. She posted a handwritten letter on Instagram, accompanied by a stark black and white photograph of her engagement ring sitting alone on an empty table, a powerful image of void and loss. The letter was a public bearing of the soul. "Jenk, if this is indeed the final page, know that every second was real. I seek no excuses, only peace. I will love you in silence, holding on to the hope that one day, your memory of me will not be synonymous with pain." As of this recording, Jenk has not publicly responded to this digital letter. However, whispers in the dark corners of the journalistic world suggest that a second, secret meeting has occurred away from the therapists, away from the cameras, and away from the family. Just two people in a room, trying to see if the embers can be reignited or if they must be extinguished forever. Are they negotiating a reconciliation, or are they granting each other the mercy of a respectful goodbye? The fate of this love story remains a mystery wrapped in a riddle. But one thing is certain, the scandal has left deep scars on both of them. And as Jenk so poignantly posted, scars do indeed teach, but they also serve as a permanent reminder of where the skin was broken. Whether that break makes them stronger or keeps them apart is the question only time will answer. Thank you for being with us on this emotional journey through the trials of Cenk Torun. This is News Around, where we don't just report the news, we feel it. Don't forget to like, share, and join. Until the next chapter unfolds, stay curious, stay compassionate, and goodbye.